Let Them Come is a turret defense game rocking straight out of the 80s. It oozes style between its synth tracks and impressive pixel art. In it, you play Rock Gunner, an elite mercenary who something cliche. The story doesn't much matter here, and most attempts at one beyond the short stylized cutscenes don't amount to much. Leave to say you're alone aboard a spaceship, blasting hordes of aliens as they swarm you. And this works pretty well for the most part. These sort of last stand games are kinda hard to screw up, to be fair. As long as the player can proceed, you can throw some new elements their way every so often, and you've got a bit of style going, and there's not much that can go wrong. Damn if they didn't try, though. Let Them Come didn't want to settle copying its peers. It was rather ambitious for its genre. It tried a lot of things you don't see much of in this sort of game. Some things worked. Many did not. I get the feeling the developer didn't have the greatest handle on how mechanics actually mesh together because despite many of the things going for the game, it lacks intuitiveness. Which is also kind of strange for the genre. Again, it's a simple genre. It's more than a little strange to see someone mess up the complexity. Not to say it goes too far off the rails. The basics are there. You aim, you shoot at overwhelming waves of attackers intent on doing you harm while mitigating your health, ammo, and weapon cooldown. It's beyond that where things get interesting. For starters, you begin the game and are thrown directly into a tutorial. You cannot go to the main menu or change the difficulty until after the tutorial. As well, you can never start a new game without the tutorial. Okay, sure, whatever. You are thrown into the basics of the gameplay from go, just shooting things with a somewhat underpowered machine gun with no frills. At the lower left, your character shows his mug, screaming into the approaching waves as he fires his machine gun with his blood splatter letting you know how much health he has left. You kinda meant to die here, but it is possible, if difficult, to complete the first wave. Only for the next one to appear directly after. Seems the developer had a somewhat different definition of wave than everyone else. Let Them Come uses waves as checkpoints. That's it. Between them, you're not allowed to stop, sort your inventory, anything. There's a couple seconds and then the next wave comes in, meaning the only way to get to your inventory, change things out, or upgrade is to die. Or defeat a boss to move on to the next section. Odd choice and not exactly intuitive, but okay. So you die and continue with the tutorial. And you will die. You simply do not have the firepower or options to deal with more than a few waves at most. Quickly, it shows you the basics of inventory. You can equip 2 secondary items, a melee weapon and a grenade. Select 2 different ammunition types, generally a less powerful infinite shot type along with a secondary of your choice with limited counts. And then numerous passive abilities of which you can equip 4, along with a couple gun mods to put on your ammo. Sounds alright so far, and at a glance it looks like there's plenty of options. The tutorial finishes by showing you some fluff that neither affects anything nor is particularly useful or interesting, and then throws you into the game proper. And it functions fine for a bit. You enjoy your immediate upgrades for a bit, slaughtering alien vermin as a kill counter bar fills up on top, and once it does, the game pauses and you select from one of 3 random bonuses. Click your choice and try to time fill it up so you get the bonus for longer. Okay, odd little mechanic, but doesn't seem bad or anything, right? Except there's options here which really should have been upgrades. Double barrels, barbed wire, and drones are each temporary rather than basic upgrades. What's really bothersome about this mechanic though is how it interrupts play. Middle of a fight and all of a sudden the game is paused. Hope you weren't, say, trying to throw a grenade or charging up a shot in a sticky situation because your attack just got cancelled. This doesn't get too bad until you reach higher difficulties, later levels, or the New Game Plus, where it's not uncommon to spend more time on the pause screen than within the levels. I wish that was an exaggeration. That is how quickly the combo bar fills up. Needless to say, you do not require the passive ability, which fills up the bar faster. So you play the game, choose which loadout you'd like, helped along some by one of the bonuses, which can allow you to try an alternate grenade or melee weapon if you so wish. After 24 waves, you reach a boss fight. These are really some of the highlights to the game. Big bads with a massive health bar, unique attacks, and some resistance to damage. These can be fun to come up against, although not entirely without problems of their own. See, most bosses have specific weaknesses, and if you don't have the weapon to face them, then you're going down. There's no way to glean what these weaknesses might be before the wave, not even from the notes you're updated with along the way. So if you don't take the right weapons into a fight, or worse, spent all your money and don't have the weapons available, then you're in for a bad day. Remember how I said waves are treated like checkpoints? Die to a boss and you begin their wave all over, and the bosses don't offer much currency to grind for. For that matter, it's not always clear what a weapon's capabilities are until they fail. For example, explosive ammo takes care of shield enemies fine, who are stated to require piercing ammo, but do jack all to the shield of the crawler. Dark energy seems to go through everything just fine, but gets held up by the walls erected by shifters. It's great that everything has different properties, but it'd be nice if the game told you what those properties might be. Anyway, you continue slaughtering along, messing with different loadouts, and it shouldn't take overly long to discover just how unbalanced the game is. There's some basic things like the fact that the rapid fire and cooldown passive buffs are so necessary to progress, it's a wonder they don't have their own upgrade tree, while other bonuses, namely lucky, are entirely useless. Then there's more severe imbalances, like how a cluster shot, basically a shotgun shot, uses up a ton of ammo and can't stack with other bonuses, making it entirely worthless. While the charge shot about breaks the game, if only because lower level charges don't count against special ammunition. So pairing it with, say, explosive, piercing, or dark energy ammo pretty well wins the game, even on the highest difficulty. Which is fine, you don't come across a playable last stand type of game without having some way to cheese it. This game just makes it easier than most. And unlike many other such games, you can't cheese all the way through, thanks to the bosses. So you annihilate your enemies, are treated to an over-the-top, edgy cutscene, which is pure camp, and you open up the option for New Game Plus, as well as numerous challenge modes. You can try your hand on them if you've yet to reach your fill, but by this point you've really seen all the game has to offer. Again, these sorts of titles lend themselves to simplicity. The first playthrough will probably net you close to 2 hours, and that's really all you need. What then to make of Let Them Come? It lasts about as long as you'd expect from a title of its genre, but unlike most competitors, this one actually costs money. But it also oozes style between some impressive graphics and beats, and there's a shocking level of performance here. I never at any point received slowdown, even at the game's most intense, with the lighting going insane and bits of gore coating the walls, even as dozens are shredded by a constant stream of explosions. Not to say the game isn't glitchless. Certain objects or shots occasionally have trouble rendering and appear invisible, which can make for some hectic panic moments. As well, occasionally the game is unable to process your secondary attacks for seemingly no reason, keeping you from using grenades or melee weapons temporarily, which makes for an extremely frustrating glitch in some of the tighter moments in boss fights. In the end, the game really could have benefited from better direction to smooth out a plethora of quibbles which really keep this from elevating itself. Still, if you have a couple hours to blow and a couple bucks eating a hole in your wallet, Let Them Come has more than enough going for it to provide for some mindless entertainment.